Today is the 28th day of June, coming towards 10 months. July 2nd will be 10 months since Hurricane Dorian. And although we accomplished much, a lot more could have been accomplished if we had a member of parliament that we could see and speak to. I just want Abaco just to think about what if we didn't have the Americans here helping us. Although the government of the Bahamas want to give everything to the Chinese, I have not seen one China man, China woman, boy or girl on the grounds of Abaco and indeed Dundastan since Hurricane Dorian. I haven't heard all that they've given to the Chinese. I haven't heard anything that the Chinese given them except for those contaminated COVID-19 things to choke down your nose. They sent them to the Bahamas for the Bahamian government to use us as guinea pig and to test to see if it kill us first or infect us. Then they'll use them on the Chinese because the government is so blind by the Chinaman. Is interesting. The first time in my life I sit in and just on those wow experience that China is a communist nation. We are a democratic society, country, and everything is going to the Chinese, being bought up by the Chinese. They got Chinese sign on buildings downtown Bay Street. They ain't got it in English, all Chinese. I'm through Nassau and the boys say, this is owned by a Chinese, that is owned by a Chinese. The government has gone Chinese. I don't know if in China they wake Obey or voodoo, but something ain't right. That a country that we can't speak the language, write the language, know the language, is taking over Nassau and indeed the Bahamas. We have a part in Copistan that the great Hubert Ingram, that's how Copistan people describe him, the great Hubert Ingram. I just called him little nappy head Hubert Ingram. Put down there for 10 years. And they can't figure how to open it. They got the big belly man down there. They call him the big belly man. He's not feeling enough. He'll get contract till he bust open. That's who Hubert used to use his last run. Hubert had the same man. You imagine giving somebody the whole rights. Nobody in the country could get sand but one person. That was methodically thought of. You get 10 million, 10 million come back to the party to campaign. Just like now, down there dredging off of Copistan, got the dump and treasure key. He would put in this falls bill, 5 for me, 5 for the government, $10 million deal. Only people lose is the Bahamian people. That's called cronyism from the top. When you could give a guy a contract to try to secure you winning the election and the country is suffering because it's all about you. That's what continues to happen. I saw an Abaco has to be, I know the young people in Abaco under the age of 50 years old. They are 80% of the voters in this election in North Abaco. And I don't think my younger people gonna go with the party rather than the man. I believe that they understand Kai's flight. Kai is standing in the gap to try to make it better for them. Over 40 years. We had 35 years of Hubert Ingraham. Get elected, not a meeting. We don't see him till the end of that 5 years. Then we got Darren Henfield, already being gone for 3 years, 2 more years to go. You would imagine the worst event in the history of the Bahamas happened in Abaco. And to date, 10 months and a couple days, and we haven't had a sit-down meeting with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He could fly all over the world. We could see him at the boats, but we can't see him in Abaco sitting down and listening to the people that is on the ground, that is suffering. We don't know what Darren Henfield and his sidekick, Hubert Minnis, did with the VAT money that the PLP collected, because that's how they went to power, that they are going to find the numbers for the VAT money. And they promised the Bahamian people they will not increase taxes. The first lie they told was when they raised tax to 12%. 3 years in, we don't know what they have collected or what information they have gathered from how much the PLP have collected in 5 years. They didn't give us that information. Nor have they given us the information on how much they have collected in 3 years. Surely they're not paying our national debt, because that's growing, that's rising. You imagine. And this is for the decent, independent FNMs. I know y'all are embarrassed because y'all were expecting so much better. But the first thing they did, asked for a raise. Couple months on the job, the FNM ministers collectively wanted a raise, and went under the disguise that they haven't had a raise in 20-some years, like they were in Parliament collectively all that time. First time ever. They wanted a raise before they even start to work. What a waste. Greed. Greed. Greed is all about me. But the question is, where is the VAT money? What is the government doing? If we had an MP that cared about Abaco and his reputation, surely he would have told Abaco and Abaconians how much money is collected on behalf of Abaco, and what is the government propose? What is priority? You have to prioritize something. They haven't prioritized water nor electricity, because they're moving from Dunderston, Little Orchard, Hopetown, Guanakee, Grain Tulakee, and they ain't fixing nothing. Just hitting and running, not completing nothing. That is where we are when you don't have a government nor a member of parliament that cares for you. We have a meeting. I heard the meeting is planned tomorrow. But the question is, you need to get the man that in government, the man that y'all were calling the meeting, y'all over there in Enfield, you know. It's so sad. Y'all calling for a meeting on your member of parliament. It would have been more fruitful if you would have invited him. And if he doesn't show, then you would say he doesn't show. But don't have a meeting with us when we invited and we elected somebody to give the answers that you're trying to find. He knows the answers. He needs to be invited to the meeting and have the answers to these questions. I could come to the meeting, beat up my gum till it starts to bleed. But I am not at the table of decision making. Understand that. Darren Henfield and James Albury happen to be the people that we elected just a few years ago to be the spokesman. These are the people that needs to be on the panel to get the real answer, not to estimate nor guesstimate, but to know what's going on. They need to be in the meeting. That would be fruitful. But that is what you elect. I'm right here on a beautiful spot. I just love this spot. I have so much memory here. Just want to show my audience what we have here in Abaco and to understand. And this spot, it's the only spot that Darren Henfield got Bahamas striping to come and clean. That's all he thought about us. And they ain't even clean. I'm going to show you what's happening here. I was here when they were here. And this is Darren's baby. I call it Kai basketball court, but Darren is the minister. So this is where we are right now. What a beautiful, we're looking over Manawar Key right there. Mashaba in the background. And this is what Darren cleaned up. This is a basketball court here. Used to have a post here. But somehow, Eric and Dorian left one. The other ones went out to sea. There's the Southside Club right next door there. But this is Darren's baby. The Member of Parliament for Abaco. This is the only area that he put money to clean up. We haven't seen him. You haven't sent a message. We only see him on them boats every now and again. I don't even understand how the boy wake up in the morning and expect Abaco to elect him again by asking, begging for a free ride on a ferry boat. And then he come with the camera and putting camera in people's face on a boat, sitting in a plastic chair. How do you ride from Nassau on a container boat in a plastic chair for 11 hours? And he think he's doing the world and all. That's an insult. That's an insult to my people. When you send the Haitians to Haiti on Bahamas Air jet, and then you give each one around $200 for breaking the law of this country, and you send your people there in Henfield that elected you, and you got a post of Minister of Foreign Affairs, and you send them sitting in a plastic chair for 11 hours on a freight boat, and you didn't give them the $200. And this is what you give to understand. A park full of nothing. Grass, rocks. You should at least clear it out so you could walk to the seashore. We couldn't even walk to the seashore here. This is what you're getting to understand, baby. Last Hurricane Kai was full speed ahead. Rebuilding this court. So you got a whole lot of nothing. Always wonder where that basketball rim went. There it is right there. That's where it ended up. Right there. I learned something today by walking out here. But that's the dock where I used to end up in. A lot of waterfront property here. A lot of memories destroyed. One thing I'm happy about is that the Dundastan Town Committee, that criminal organization that I happen to be a part of, but not proudly, they can't steal from the people that elect them, charging people for stalls and bar $1,800 a month. You imagine, you guys that in local government throughout the Bahamas that you are elected to steal from your people locally. The property is government property. The stalls that you built belongs to the government, the people, and then you turn around after you spend government money, local government money to build the stalls, the bar, and you charge them excess of $1,800 a month for 9 years. 9 years I've been complaining, and they've been stealing rightfully so by putting it in an organization to collect money for them thieving elected official of the Dundas Town Committee for 9 years, and they believe they're so smart. They don't recognize that you cannot collect money. You cannot put an organization together to collect money on behalf of Dundas Town Committee. It is called stealing. And if the investigation would have been held, somebody going to jail. Just look at the numbers. $1,800 a month for 9 years. You do the math, you know the stealing. Then we have one of the Dundas Town Committee that been forging somebody's signature for 3 years, another $1,800 a month, and going to Royal Bank and signing somebody else's name on the check as a member of Dundas Town Committee for 3 years. Added up, $1,800 a month by 3 years. That's the amount of stealing that Caius reported in Nassau, because you can't report it here. And to date, they're still a member, and they're point finger at God's child, Kai Mills. Loving, fearful Christian man of God. They want point hand on me, and I never stole $1. They've been stealing for years. This is one of these Kai cases. This is what you go through. Small town to understand. But I love my town. I love my people. That's why I'm standing in the gap to stop the thieving and the bleeding, to make this little town a better place than Kai made it. You're live with Kai on WCAY on the waterfront, on the beautiful waterfront of my own town, my birthplace of Dundas Town, Abaco, Bahamas. You're live with Kai on a beautiful Sunday in the Bahamas.